Welcome to Manage to Engage, the podcast from clearandopen.com, dedicated to the evolution of you because businesses grow when people do. Serving leaders, managers, and people who will be, helping you reach excellence in your work and achieve your personal goals at the same time. Sign up for the free course at clearandopen.com. I get overwhelmed for a couple hours every week. There's no problem with that. But I notice very quickly and return. There's no problem with that. The problem is being in denial of the chronic overwhelm. And then there's nothing, you can't work on it. Hi, it's Joseph, and thanks for tuning in to Manage to Engage, the podcast from clearandopen.com. This episode starts a two-part series on the power of organization and the epidemic of chronic overwhelm. We also discuss the being and doing aspects of being organized. It's critical to work on both. As you listen, remember that getting organized is a means to an end. There's a ton of great reasons to clear off your desk or empty your inbox, but the most important one people rarely get. There's far more to it than just moving stuff around. This episode is from a recent weekly member webcast. For more information about the many benefits of Clear and Open membership and how to get the help you need in conversations like this, please go to clearandopen.com. Thanks so much for listening. Let's dive in. Getting organized is a means to an end, not an end of and to itself. It's a scaffolding. It's training wheels. Does it have merit and usefulness of and to itself? Absolutely. Saving time? Terrific. That's company resources. That's your energetic resources. There's a ton of great reasons to be more organized for its own sake. But that's like, good metaphor is bodybuilding. If you know anything about fitness, especially in weightlifting, you may know that in the weightlifting community, bodybuilders are often the butt of jokes because the kind of weightlifting that makes you look like that doesn't make you strong. Not as strong as a different style. It doesn't not make you strong, but the kind of weightlifting that makes you pretty, according to the societal standards of what that is not the same as what makes you really, really strong. And if you've never seen the world's strongest man and woman competitions, oh my God, this is a must see. Go YouTube that. And if you look at these people, they're not pretty according to the standards. They're not Mr. or Ms. Universe looking people, and they're the strongest people in the world. Because what makes you able to move a 150-pound tractor tire is not 100 yards or whatever the crazy things they do. It's not the same kind of training as what makes you pretty, and that's a really good metaphor. Getting organized doesn't necessarily bring you clear-headedness. There's a correlation, but it's not causal. I can't tell you that if you get 100% on that quiz, that you'll be officially out of overwhelm and I can, give you the clear and open seal of approval. It doesn't work that way. The same way you can go to a gym 2 hours a day and do all sorts of stuff and not necessarily get strong. So you may be asking then the reasonable question then, well, how do I get that thing? Well, before we get to the how, let me talk a little bit about what that is before we talk about the how. Another way of saying it is, in the realm of organization, there's an internal component and there's an external component. And the external component has to do with, is there anything on your desk that is talking to you needing to be done something with? Is there something on your desk that you're not working on right now that when you look down, it makes your mind go, hey, don't forget me. Look around you. That's the outside part. Are you emptying your inbox every day? Are your files handwritten or are they typed? Does your email make a sound when it comes in? When you open up the home screen on your smartphone, do you have 25 different badges getting your attention? That's all outside stuff. And when you deal with that outside stuff, it generally correlates with an impact on the inside stuff. But not necessarily. That's the trick. That's the problem. It doesn't necessarily. what's the inside stuff? The inside stuff is that you're only thinking about what you're doing right now. That's a state of mind. And there are outer things you can do that can help precipitate that state of mind. But that's not, I didn't even want to call it a state of mind because that makes it a noun. That's a process you return to again and again and again. The founder of Aikido, the martial art I used to do a lot, was an amazing man who could do amazing things. And he said, my students think I never lose my center, and that's not so. I simply notice more quickly and return sooner. So having this kind of clear mind is a process. Internal things, only having on your mind what you're doing in this very moment. There are outer things you can do to make that easier. It's basically impossible. If your email makes a noise every time you get it, you're overwhelmed. I don't care what you think about that sound, you're overwhelmed. You don't have to believe me, turn it off and you'll discover something is different. But you won't discover something is different if you've got 12 other notifications like that and a desk that is covered with so much stuff you forget what color it is. And that's the trick. You won't get this internal place, this openness. You won't be able to get there if you're not willing to try things that don't appear to have a direct cause. And one of the problems in Western culture, we're very direct causality oriented. We want to do X and produce Y result. And you say, oh, well, if you do X, you'll get Y result. Oh, okay, I like that. I'm ready to do X. What result do you want? I want C result. Well, if you want C result, performing A action tends to correlate with C result, but there's no guarantee. I don't really like that. I'm going to look for another solution where there's more of a guarantee. Okay, good luck with that. There are certain results that there's not direct things that can produce that. So I can't tell you what actions, what activities in Clear Workspace will produce this internal result. I don't know what it is. It could be just one thing. It could be just turning the sounds of your email off, get you to that internal open mind state. It could be that it's actually more like 20 different things. It could be in module 3. It could be in module 6. Hopefully it's somewhere in there. I tried to cover enough of the basics so that it's somewhere in there. But I don't know what it is. And neither do you. That's the point I want to make. You don't know either. No, you might. But it's a more productive point of view to come from, I don't know what organizational change in my workspace, in my work life, in my life in general. I don't know what's going to create that shift in consciousness, that clarity of mind, where there's this kind of peace that comes over me, where I feel like I have all the time in the world to do anything I want. That's the kind of place I'm talking about, where every day feels like mine, where I feel like I'm at the center of my day, and whatever distraction comes up, I feel bigger than it is. And I smile at the things talking to me and go, you think you can control me, but that's just not how it works anymore. Where you don't feel dread, when you go 3 hours without looking at your email. It's a different state of being that you can lose and go back to overwhelm, and that's fine. But once you have that experience for enough times and enough duration, once it anchors in you, there's this tipping point when you get over a hump where you've had that experience enough where you're never going to want to go back. Because many people, you could be 40, 50, 60 years old and lived in overwhelm your entire adult life and not known it. Some of you I know for a fact have done that. Some of you have told me. Others of you, I can tell you live that way based on how you move, the look in your eyes, the way you phrase your emails, the way you don't answer direct questions in your emails. That's one of the biggest clues. Overwhelmed people can't answer direct questions in emails because they don't really read the email. If you read an email and you see a question mark and you're really present, you go, oh, a question, that's something for me to answer. But if you're not present, you miss it. So when you achieve, I don't want to say attain this state, because you can lose it. You can lose it really easily, and there's no problem. Just like the founder of Aikido said, you just return. I get overwhelmed for a couple hours every week. There's no problem with that. But I notice very quickly and return. There's no problem with that. The problem is being in denial of the chronic overwhelm, and then there's nothing, you can't work on it. Nothing can be done there. So when you get this, and for all I know, some of you are here already. I don't know. Maybe some people are just naturally really clear-headed this way. It's rare. But here's another way of saying it. When you look around in your office, in the world, when you're riding the bus or walking down the street, if you don't see overwhelmed people all around you all the time, you're one of them. It's really that simple, because that's our world. If you don't walk down the street and see people hurting their necks looking down at their phones, or like stumbling over obstacles because they're looking at their phones, or missing events around them because they're so distracted, then you're one of them. And there's no problem with that unless you don't realize it. So I'm wanting just to invite you into this. It could be that for you, it's a completely different world, one you've never been to. It's that different. And because it was for me. Thanks for listening to Manage to Engage, the Clear and Open podcast. Join us next week when you'll be a little bit closer to who you're destined to be. Until then, know that Clear and Open is dedicated to the evolution of you, because businesses grow when people do. Be sure to visit clearandopen.com for the latest tools, articles, and free resources to help you on your journey. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.